Mr. Jansen, then I'll be back to Ms. O'Hare.
The Building and Contracts Committee, I believe, was very clear in our desire to have the data that Ms. Murphy spoke about, the data on several options. That's why we insisted on the feasibility studies, more than one option, with, of course, the engineer architect's recommendation, and then give all of those studies to the board for our review. Then we get the difficult task of making that decision. Hopefully it's an informed decision based on the data and the facts available to us. That's what the genesis of this is. That's what I was pushing for, and I have the utmost confidence in Mr. Sines' group to do just that for this board.
Mr. Hayden, then Ms. O'Hare, Mr. Pelosi.
Yeah, I share Ms. Harris's view that by the deletion of the word addition, we have in fact expanded the scope by suggesting that it would be a review of an elementary school project, and taking out the word addition, for those of you who will be looking at this in 2 or 3 years when this is coming to you, would make it clearer that the scope is broad, and I think that probably just frankly wasn't particularly considered during the course of the committee meeting, but it works. So deleting addition works to me, and that's the motion on the floor.
What's already been approved.
No, it hasn't.
No,
I apologize.
no, we have not. I think more than the semantics of what it says is what we intend. And I think this board's intent is to look at the broadest possibilities for children. Ms. O'Hare?
I can't have a lot of faith in additions, especially since what we have proposed is an addition at Loch Raven High School, which I think is a mistake. Okay? Knowing the area. If you don't know the area, you don't know it's a mistake. I read their feasibility study. I also read the feasibility study for the new facility for our most fragile children for Mays Chapel, and that it made sense to me, and I just don't understand why we're going down this road instead of doing the right thing. We didn't seem to have a problem passing the $65 million new Carver. That wasn't a problem. And I looked at how much this Mays Chapel thing costs, and it's not. And I know you're going to go in that direction, but I do not believe that's the right thing.
Ms. O'Hare, I'm going to refer back to Ms. Shulman because they had a much deeper discussion of all this in building and contracts.
I want to remind you all what you're saying has validity. However, the reason an addition was originally discussed and is still being discussed is budgetary. We were faced with a budgetary problem. That's why an addition may still have to be considered. If a feasibility study or studies will consider all aspects, fine. But realistically, we still have to include studying an addition. I understand the separate facilities. I understand all the problems. But to be realistic, you're going to have it all studied, including an addition.
Ms. O'Hare, Ms. Harris.
Ms. O'Hare, I agree with you. I'm not for an addition in my brain. That's not the route to go. But I think if we have various choices, that it will prove us correct.
Okay.
When they talk about an addition, and that's why I would vote in favor of this, because I think we need to see some possibilities.
I will never vote for an addition to Ridge Ruxton School.
Correct. I would not be in favor of that either, but I think that it may prove us correct in the long run, that there are other possibilities that would be just as acceptable.
Mr. Pelosi,
but we need to see them.
And then Mr. Parker.
I had a long talk with Mr. Sines about this when it first came out to find out about it. And I had told him that I would not vote for an addition to Ridge Ruxton. He said this is a study not only of Ridge Ruxton, but the property of Ridge Ruxton, to see if we have to maybe possibly build another separate school on that property, or check the area out, maybe going to Mays Chapel. But we need to do this study to get this done. Most of the board members are not in favor of an addition to Ridge Ruxton. I am not. But I am in favor to do the study so then we could find out what is happening. I know that it's illegal right now for us to build an addition to Ridge Ruxton, but we got to do the study to make sure we're right.
Madam Chair,
Mr.
call for the
Parker.
question.
Thank
The
you.
addition part.
Question has been called. We'll deal with your amendment, and then the amendment that Ms. O'Hare is proposing is the word
Removed.
addition be removed.
Anybody, we already have a second, all,
We had a second. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed?
I'm abstaining.
And
I can't take it.
you're abstaining. Now we're back to the recommendation from the Building and Contracts Committee that we move forward with negotiating for the preparation of feasibility studies. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.